I'm actually really, really excited because we have a conversation with two amazing, amazing people that I think is a really relevant and nuanced conversation that we're going to have about workforce reentry. How do we support, okay, we talked about the next generation, but how do we support folks who are coming from troubled situations and looking to find employment and opportunity through workforce development within the circular economy? And I'm really excited to bring two amazing people to the stage. We got, first and foremost, John Williams, who's the founder of Wastewell Composting. He's leading his own composting and community education initiative in Pennsylvania and Delaware. And we got Jeanette Felix, who's a navigator with Homeboy Recycling. And she helps folks in troubled situations find their way into the circular economy and navigate into jobs and employment. Please welcome both of them to the stage. All right, so before we get started, I just want to come clean. We're a little nervous. I imagine you might be too if you was on stage and 1,000 people were looking directly at you. So I'm wondering if you can give us a little bit of a vote of confidence. Are y'all ready for this conversation? All right, cool. We locked in, let's do it. So part of the purpose of this conversation is to really understand the experience of those who are re-entering the workforce from troubled situations, from incarceration, and understand not just the barriers, because we have an understanding of that, and we'll talk a little bit more about that, but also the opportunities that can exist for re-entering workers to find success within the circular economy. And part of the reason why we're having this conversation is because re-entering workers face significant barriers to finding sustainable work. You're talking about lack of education, you're talking about lack of training, you're talking about the desire and need for additional work experience, and the main point of what we're going to try to express is that the circular economy can be a conduit and a bridge for that gap, and be a place, a safe place for not only inclusion but belonging for those who are re-entering the workforce from troubled situations. And so with that being said, I want to introduce our folks on stage here. Well, these are your stories to tell, so I'm going to try to set you up with a quick question here. So maybe John first. John, you've been through a program that you can talk about in just a second, but can you describe the program that you've experienced, how it helped you navigate your life re-entering the workforce, and then a little bit about what felt most valuable about that program and initiative for you?
My name is John Williams. The program that I was a part of was the composting program for Philadelphia prisons. There they pretty much help you, learn about sustainability. We used to pick up food scraps from over 8,000 inmates and hundreds of guards daily, and we'd bring it back to the facility at one of the prisons. On site they had on site they had a composting field where we pretty much, it was set up for us to just dump the food scraps inside the field, and we used forced air. So they taught us how to break the material down the proper way, the right temperatures, and things like that. So the value that I poured out of the program was like, it was like people, I met Ms. Laura, her name was Laura Cassidy, sustainable manager of the prisons. She pretty much the effort to help, she just wanted to help people, so, that made me want to, learn more about sustainability and yeah.
I love it. I love it. And so, it sounds like what made a significant impact for you not only was that program, but was the special touch from, can you remember?
Laura Cassidy, yeah.
Cassidy? Laura?
Laura, yeah.
That Laura was able to invest in you and see something that obviously you were able to kind of return in kind, and that led you on the pathway to now you owning your own
Yes.
composting company. Can you talk a little bit about that?
Yes, I can. So upon my release, I worked for a composting company called Bennett Compost. Shout out to Tim Bennett. He helped me out. And like going through the business, like I learned, like he taught me more about composting, and I was able to learn the business side of things as well. So I've been, I was working there for 4 years, and an opportunity came where someone wanted to part ways with Wastewell, and I was able to. She interviewed 5 of us, 5 different people, and I was, she chose me to, sell to, and and that was in 2023. So we are now going into our 3rd year, and it's been going well since.
I love it. I love it. I love it. And I'm really also excited to talk to Jeanette as well, because Jeanette, you work with Homeboy, who does some amazing work out in California, working with many different people, but helping with workforce training and support systems for people who are in need of those things. Can you talk a little bit about your role as a navigator, and then how your experience in the program led to where you are today and what was most valuable?
So my role as a navigator is to sort of, the best way I could describe it is a teacher. And I just help them, guide them through their own troubles and tribulations of when they get out of prison, if they're addicts, if they're through domestic violence, things that sort of hinder us through life that we don't know how or we weren't taught. So being a navigator at Homeboys, it's a pleasure because it teaches me, and as I'm teaching somebody, I'm being taught myself to stay sort of humble. Homeboys is one of the largest gang interventions in the world. So we help people with getting out of prison, having addictions, like I said, domestic violence. So we have different resources. We have over 50 different classes that we provide for them. We have our different empires. We have the bakery. We have recycling. I was moved from Homeboys to recycling, and I really didn't have the understanding of electronics, or when they used to say to recycle it. I didn't understand it, and but when I was moved there, it was really inspiring, and we're not any different. I look at it because when we walk through Homeboys doors, we're sort of broken down, and as we bring in pallets of different things from different companies that recycle, we clean them up, and we get them ready, and it's not any different. So that was a pleasure because I really didn't have the understanding of recycling, so it gave me a different outlook of what works for just in reality in life, or our planet.
Absolutely. And one of the things that I'm hearing from you is that you yourself have been through situations, and now through Homeboy getting your training, you're now able to impact others. Can you talk a little bit about maybe just what it feels like for someone going through the program to have someone to look up to that also has kind of been where they've been? Like, is that an important and valuable part of that program, or what would you say to that?
I do. I think it's a very important, because I went to Homeboys in 2010. I've always known about Homeboys, but I really didn't I wasn't ready at the moment. Mm-hmm. I didn't have an understanding of, So when I went in 2010, I was a trainee, and I went to culinary school. They sent me to culinary school. I went through the bakery. Everything that they had to offer, I went. So I thought, sort of what society wanted. And, but I sort of had to dig deeper into myself, and that's where Homeboys came. Those were the classes. They had DV, they had education, and I have 3 kids of my own, so as they were growing older, that's one thing that I wanted them to do is finish their high school. Like, if you choose not to go to college, I can't force you, but but your high school. So how was I able to tell my kids if I didn't even have it? So with Homeboys, they were able to help me in certain things that I lacked. I had tutoring, so it just helped me build me as a different person with all those resources. Like I said, we have the bakery, we have the cafe, we have recycling, we have threads, we have all these different things. So when we prepare them, you start off, and then you sort of graduate into a different field, and then we'll prepare you into the real world. And if that's what you want to do, recycling, like to me, I really didn't have the understanding of recycling or apparel, or just cooking. Yeah, we know cooking, but a lot of people don't know how to cook. A lot of people have never been taught how to throw trash out, Nobody's ever guided them or even shown them, so that's what I got from Homeboys.
That sounds very, very valuable. And you mentioned high school and the graduating of high school and going to college and wanting to make sure at the very least they graduate high school. Brings me to a point of, especially for prisons, 54%, excuse me, 54% of young adults in prison have yet to receive a high school diploma or a GED, while at the same point, 78% of jobs require a high school diploma or above. And so there's a gap there. And while there's a gap there, at the same time, John, speaking to your experience, young adults who are incarcerated are most likely of any group to participate in educational and vocational training while being incarcerated, and are where demand far exceeds supply of those resources. So there's many more people that are trying to get into those initiatives but are not able to. So I just want to ask really, really quickly, for folks in the audience who might be trying to think of ways that they can pitch in or give impact or understand, what are like 1 or 2 suggestions that you would give for anyone who either is at a company or has resources to help support not only people like you, or not only you, but people like you? Do you have a thought on that?
Yeah, I say, so I'm in a position at Bennett Compost where, I hire the collectors that, I want, and I can say I hired about 3 or 4 ex-felons, and, they've been working for, some been working for 3 years, some been working for 2 years, like they've been doing great. So I say just go to the prisons and just give them a try, like I'm an ex-felon, and somebody gave me a try, and I'm gonna make the best opportunity of the situation. So
love it.
Yeah.
Love it. Jeanette, do you have any words of wisdom for someone?
I would say as well, I just feel that overall you have to sort of look out for your community. Your community is a big part of what is going to build you and build everybody, and you have to have in somewhat faith and trust, because the same way when you built whatever you built, you had to have faith and trust, and with your community, it's gonna take you a long way.
I love it. Thank you so much, both of you all. Give them a warm round of applause, please.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.